Hi, I'm Tracy Finan, and I am the President-elect and Government Relations Chair for Florida Court Reporters Association. I'm here with our lobbyist/government relations specialist, Corinne Mixon and Diana Ferguson of Rutledge Assenia. Often the question is asked, what's the value of my state association, and why should I join? The answer is, individually we're one drop, but together we're an ocean, and I'm going to come back to that when we finish. While national is tirelessly advocating for our profession and have our complete support, it is your state association that can most effectively address Florida-specific issues. The Government Relations Committee of FCRA is one of the most active committees, and to paraphrase last year's chair and one of my best friends and one of my many mentors within FCRA, Rosa Nacarado, it's the only unified means for reporters in our state to interact with the legislature and advocate for a profession that is so important yet under-recognized. Now, COVID has definitely changed all of our lives. FCRA, through its GRC and our lobbyists, were immediately and currently are engaged with contacts in the governor's office, the Supreme Court, and the bar to keep Florida reporters working and keep the judicial process moving. The GRC committee is comprised of volunteers made up of your colleagues throughout the state, from the Panhandle all the way to South Florida. And they bring all their regional perspectives to the table. And speaking of tables, we all know the saying, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're likely to wind up on the menu. And that's where our lobbying team comes in. So I'm going to turn it over to Corinne and Diana.
Thank you so much, Tracy. We are so excited to be a part of the FCRA team and to be a part of our firm, Rutledge Assenia. And as Tracy mentioned, you have an extremely active government relations committee, and we're so grateful for that because you're the only organization in the state that is thinking about court reporters every day. So if not you, then who? And so that's where we come in as your lobbying team. And we were given two missions when we began working with FCRA. One was to pass smart policy when needed, and Diana will tell you about some of the more regulatory side of that while I'll stick to the legislative. The other was to build relationships. And let's start with the policy side. Last year, for the first time in very many years, we had proactive legislation dealing with court reporters that would have established a registry. So it was very exciting to get to talk about you all in the Capitol. This year, we're working on the fact that you could swear in witnesses via remote means, not only during COVID, but moving forward in perpetuity. The reason we have to do that is because right now there's an executive order that protects you and waives one of the chapters of law that would penalize you for doing that action remotely. If we don't codify that by actually passing a bill this year, which nobody else is working on other than this association, that you will not outlast that temporary order, and we won't end up being able to do this going forward. And I can tell you one thing, it doesn't seem like you're ever going back to not having situations where you might have to swear in a witness remotely. The other part is relationship building, and I can tell you it's never been more exciting to be able to talk about court reporters in the Capitol. These individuals that represent you in the Florida House and Florida Senate would not know a thing about court reporters if you didn't have proactive legislation you were bringing forward. It had been too many years, we get that, but we are on an excellent path, and people are talking about you every day in the building right across the street. So thank you so much for letting us represent you. I'm going to kick it to Diana to tell you about it a little more.
Thank you, Corinne. My name is Diana Ferguson. I'm an attorney and lobbyist with Rutledge Assenia, and my primary responsibility for FCRA has been to establish relationships within the Florida bar. And we have done an amazing job of that, working with the GRC to establish relationships within the Board of Governors, at the highest levels of staff within the Florida bar, and with the relevant committees that matter to you all. We've been working with the Rules Committee, the Tech Committee on COVID recommendations, and also the Workers' Compensation Commission, the Workers' Compensation section, just to make sure that the attorneys in that section understand what the reporters can do in a remote situation and what they can't do. We've worked with the chief judge at the Division of Administrative Hearings to publish a blog to educate those lawyers so that they understand the way to keep these cases moving smoothly and how to respect the role that reporters have. And we've made great progress in that regard. And so we look forward to continuing to work with you to continue that good work and to really make it a situation that the bar is thinking about what reporters need, and that reporters are a technical resource and can help when they're working on rules, when they're working on these issues. And so we look forward to continuing that work. We've had great success so far, and I just see that continuing in the future.
Great. And to close, I would strongly encourage all reporters to know who your legislative representatives are. Familiarize yourself with your local legislators, your colleagues in your local bar and at the state bar, and committees of interest within those groups, and help FCRA help you. As I said earlier, individually we are one drop, but together we are an ocean. And the great state of Florida is all too familiar with the power of an ocean. Please consider joining FCRA so we can strengthen your voice and protection of Florida reporters. And if you're interested in becoming part of the Government Relations Committee, I welcome you. Happy Court Reporting and Captioning Week from Tallahassee, Florida.